As educators, we always want to make a difference in the lives of our students. Every teacher chooses this profession in order to change lives. Throughout the past couple of years, there have been so many challenges that our students have faced. They have dealt with the ongoing pandemic, loss of loved ones, parents losing their jobs, not being able to see their friends, not being able to participate in extracurricular activities, and so many other things. As we continue to get through this pandemic, we are all figuring out what our new normal will be. As you begin this school year, I challenge you to get back to the basics. With so many things going on with our students, it is crucial for us to get back to basics. And part of getting back to basics, it is important to remember why our students are in the schoolhouse. The most important reason is to have academic success. We are preparing our students for their future. In order to do this, we can't worry about the things we can't control. We can only focus on the things we have the power to change. I was teaching 5th grade. I had a student who was dealing with a lot in his personal life. He lived in Baltimore City, and his mother decided to move to Howard County in order to get her kids away from their father. This student's mom felt that her children were in danger and she had to cut all communication with the father. The transition from living in the city and moving to the suburbs was hard for him. He really struggled with the school rules and being respectful. When things didn't go his way, everyone in the class would feel it. This young man was so bright and talented. He had the desire to learn and always tried his best. He was involved in football for the local league. Despite all of these great qualities, some teachers consider his home life and the reason why he was not performing at the grade level expectations. I dislike these types of conversations because it always felt like a downward spiral conversation. It did not matter if we were talking about how the student is doing academically or behaviorally. The conversation will always stem around what is going on in his home life. It really struck a nerve with me. When it came time for me to talk about this child, I had nothing but great things to say. All of my colleagues wanted to know what I am doing to help this child. I will always say, I don't focus on the things I can't control. I focus on the things that can bring about change. For this particular student, I made it my point to build a strong relationship with him. We will have lunch bunches in order to talk about what is going on, and I will share things that were happening with me in order to connect with him. Whenever he would be upset about something that happened in another class, I will always tell him, you have the rest of the day to turn it around. During class, I will always make sure I checked in on him individually to make sure he understood the assignment in order to prevent him from getting upset. I didn't realize the impact I was making until after he left my class. This student wrote a letter and donated a book to me. In his letter, he wrote that I was his favorite teacher in elementary school because even when he was frustrated, I will always encourage him to work hard. There is power in him recognizing what I did for him. Being a new teacher can present some challenging situations. It is important to always remember what you value. For me, I value making a nurturing and inclusive environment regardless of what they bring to my class. Always remember, the parents send the best that they have and expect the best for their children. When dealing with downward spiral conversations, always remember that this is a sensitive conversation. People may not feel the same things that you feel. However, when the conversation about students begins to become a downward spiral conversation, it is important to address it. I always find it better to address sensitive topics one-on-one before bringing someone else in. During that conversation, just ask for the person to clarify what they meant. It's important to get their side of the conversation before telling them how you felt, because you may have misinterpreted what they said. Share how it made you feel about the situation. When I have had to have these conversations, I'll always say, when you said that this student is struggling because they have a lot going on, do you mean that you are lowering the expectations for that student? I believe when someone hears what they said, it forces them to reflect on how people may have interpreted what they said. Usually after having the conversation with someone, they will try to be more aware about how they are saying things. As teachers, we have to acknowledge what our students have gone through, but we can't stay in this mode. It is important that we find ways for our students to achieve. Small changes will help students to feel a sense of belonging in your classroom. Get to know your students for who they are. Connect with your students on small things and simply listen to them. It goes a long way. Be the teacher that brags about the students that other teachers complain about. Check in more frequently with students who may need more support. Give yourself the grace to show your students who you are. Be empathetic and teach empathy. Be you. All students deserve someone that is intentional about how they build relationships and support the students' academic growth. All of our students come to school with baggage. However, it is important for us to make changes in order for our babies to succeed.